Yeah, g'day and welcome back to my channel. While playing around with these old CNC machines is my hobby, it's taken me a long time to realize that making videos about it is actually work. It costs money to make them, but it costs nothing to watch them. When I got started with this YouTube lark, I totally underestimated how much it actually costs to make videos. You know, I figured I had a camera so it would be free, but it's not. I made a bit of a quirky video last week about replacing my laptop and got a lot of amazing comments, and so many comments I figured it's easiest just to answer them with a video. So thanks a lot for the positive feedback, and a special thanks to those of you who offered to contribute if I crowdfund this channel. I'm going to take you up on that. Thanks very much. Now, probably the most common comment was, don't bother with 4K video, it's an insignificant improvement. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have mentioned uploading in 4K because I've got the best DSL line available in my area and it's only 10 megabit per second upload, so it took me 8 hours to upload the one 4K video that I once did, so that's a real non-starter. However, even if outputting 1080, shooting in 4K can be useful because it allows you to do stuff like this, panning, cropping in, kind of slider sort of movements just by using the extra resolution. Now, although this is a metal shop channel, long-time viewers know that I've got this current project. It's a honeydew. I need to make my wife an office side cabinet thing with some drawers, so just bear with me. Another comment which came up a lot was simply, just avoid laptops, build up a desktop PC because they're faster, more efficient, more easily maintained, more easily expanded. Now, I've done that plenty of times before and I kind of like it. You know, PCs, it's like Lego for technician sort of stuff, except they're not cheaper. If you look at the price of graphics cards these days, I edit in DaVinci Resolve and it needs an 8GB card if you want to seamlessly edit 4K video. Even used 8GB graphics card I could find is around $350–400 here. So by the time you add the rest of the used components to make up a desktop PC, you're easily at the same price, if not beyond, the price of an M1 Air or something like that. Oh, and when I travel, I like to use the downtime at airports and hotels and stuff to edit, so I need a laptop. The next frequent comment is, stick with the laptop you've already got, it still works, which is kind of what I've been doing for the last 2 years. It is a nice laptop, but it doesn't have the power to do a smooth job of editing. The basic footage, it plays back smoothly enough that you can see what you're doing. But as soon as you add transitions or graphics or titles or speed up the motion, which I do a lot of in this channel, it just becomes a slideshow. It's such that I can't really visualize what the sped up footage is going to look like until I render it out. And that's the next big issue. It takes forever. A normal video of mine, like 15 minutes or so, it takes 90 minutes to render. So mostly I only get 2 shots at it. Like, I'll render it once, watch it once, see the errors, go through, try and correct them, render it again, and that's it, it's upload time. And that's only at 1080p. So any modern computer could probably render out these little videos in 2 or 3 minutes. And that would be very useful for picking up mistakes and just improving the general quality. By the way, if any of you are looking for a wood saw, I'm actually pretty happy with the Shellac PL75. I bought it a couple of years ago when I was making the staircase out of 35mm plywood. Hey, do I hear somebody in the kitchen? Oh, look at this. Mrs. Rotary's making these really nice looking cinnamon chocolate swirly bun things. I guess I better be on my best behaviour and maybe I'll get one this afternoon. As with any shrouded saw, you do have to have dust extraction. Oh, speaking of dust extraction, I broke my cyclone. This is 3D printed, and the bin for it is this like sewage pipe. It's quite long and there's quite a weak spot through here. And of course you get the striations of the 3D print. Yeah, and I by mistake knocked it over and smashed it. I was in kind of a hurry, so I epoxied it back together and did the world's worst fiberglass job on it. Yeah, oh well. I need to reprint this lower half. It's a two-piece design from the Thingiverse, so I can just reprint this lower half at some stage. But in the meantime, the epoxy will hold. Looks like I managed to screw up the audio here. Oh well, you get narration with sound effects. Meow. I put the tape down because it's supposed to stop the edge from splitting and tearing out. The cinnamon bun was delicious. For the initial sealing of the wood, I'm using shellac. I really like shellac. I think it's got a really nice sort of honey sort of colour. It dries really fast. It smells nice. Well, it smells of booze, but just a kind of cool sealant, I think. When I did my wife's office desk, I actually French polished it. Came out pretty darn nice, but it's not something I've got time for now. French polishing is so time consuming. Just sitting there drawing little circles with a cloth takes forever. One cool thing about shellac is that it's actually safe enough to be used on food. I believe that shellac is one of the coatings on M&Ms. Once again, the solvent is just good old-fashioned booze, ethyl alcohol. Mail time. One of our viewers saw that I was going to recycle this, which came out of the machine, as a circuit breaker. He thinks it's just a switch, which probably is. So he kindly went through his electric junk pile and it's given me a nice 3-phase breaker, high quality one, modern. Thanks very much, Georg, that's brilliant. Now this channel's got a viewer by the name of Gunnar in Germany. He's a very nice man. Unfortunately, Gunnar has got a slight problem. You know, like I've got a slight problem. My slight problem is I really like lathes. So I've got 3 of them. If you look at Gunnar's Instagram page, you'll see that Gunnar's problem is his vice fetish. He gets seriously activated anytime he sees this cheap and nasty vice on my welding bench. So about a year ago, Gunnar gave me a fantastic deal on this absolute beast of a vice from Linen. And ever since then, he's been pointing out options to stands that these vices should sit on. I kept missing out on them, or they were not the right size for my vice, but then this one came up. And since I'm always too slow and keep missing them, Gunnar bought it. And then sent it on to me. So there it is, this is the swivel vice, which the Linen sits on. So while I haven't got around to starting this project yet, it is one that I'm really looking forward to doing, and it's going to have pride of place on my new bench once I make it. Yeah, so look at that. Fantastic. Thanks very much, Gunnar. I feel bad for not having started the restoration of the vice yet. My mate Christian here in Vienna gave me a bar of copper so that I can make up some jaws for this vice. So I do want to do a complete restoration on it. And normally my excuse was I'm trying not to start any new projects, but with the woodworking going on, I kind of have started new projects. On top of his vice fetish, Gunnar's also got a fetish for clamps, because he had a couple of hundred of these things, which he bought new old stock. So he padded out the box with a couple of them. Thanks a lot. We never have enough clamps, do we, in the shop? Wow, these are really nice, sturdy, adjustable G-clamps. Thanks. Now I realise that this is a bit absurd, but this here is actually my YouTube studio, at least my editing studio. I put a lot of effort in my first year of doing YouTube into sorting out the basic video quality, getting a decent camera, decent lens, bit of lighting, a monitor so that I'd actually focus correctly, a lavalier microphone so that the sound wasn't too bad. In the second year I put a lot of effort into improving the actual sort of plot, the build up, what the story I'm trying to tell, and also trying to improve my audio. And to that my family pitched in for like Christmas and birthday and bought me some decent audio equipment to fix some of the voiceover problems I was having. Also Nico was kind enough to give me some packaging material, which I have badly taped to the wall to fix the bad reverb in this room. I'll make some proper sound insulation panels to go on the walls to improve that further. My editing desk, well, it's the one my wife got when she turned 7 years old and went to school. It's 60 centimeters by 90, so roughly 2 by 3 feet. Yeah, it's kind of cramped. And my office seat, well, it's the cheapest one that IKEA sold, I think, 20 years ago. And once my wife wore it out, she put a cover on it. And then the cover got worn out, so then I got it. It typically takes me between 8 and 10 hours every Saturday afternoon, evening, to edit my videos here. This is kind of a behind the scenes in the sausage factory, what I do to make videos. Now because I already had a camera with a video mode, I naively assumed it wouldn't cost me anything to make a couple of YouTube videos, now would it? But it turns out it's kind of a useless video camera. The interface is horrible, the white balance is crap, and it doesn't have an external audio input. So the most important thing was address the audio. And for that, I got this little dictaphone and a cheap lavalier mic. That certainly improved things, but then you have to sync it up in post, and that is a pain in the ass. So you start fixing the problems. Better camera, better lens. Then you notice you're making focus errors, so you add an external monitor. You get sick of synchronizing audio, so you add a wireless microphone. Then you find you make mistakes that you forget to turn it on, so you add a backup microphone, just so you've got some audio track. Get sick of the batteries going flat and everything, so you add a power solution with a cage. And then you need to add a bit of lighting, of course, because, you know, it's all about light, isn't it? Sooner or later you get sick of setting up a tripod and make a studio camera stand. Anyway, enough about me. Better get back to the Schaublin. I guess what I'm saying is, if you'd like to join the channel and support me on Patreon, I won't be wasting your money on booze and drugs and partying. Nope. I'll be investing in this channel. Right, with those pedals being heavily spring-loaded and screwing from the inside of the machine into the bearing blocks, this is not a one-person job. Wait for Nico to come around and finish his scooter trailer project before I can finish installing this. I've also added a link to my homepage, so if you're enjoying the content and would like to throw me a bone on PayPal, there's a link on the channel info page. Thanks a lot. Not really sure if that did anything. Maybe I needed more glue, you know, thicker coat. Well, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next week.